Here's a fun task. Try and ask a person when they're making a drink to go heavy on the Arnold and less on the Palmer and see which one you get most. It's a good question, isn't it? Anyways, let's go ahead and do this dungeon. We're trying to kill an Atronak. That's gonna be fun. Oh god. Well. Looks like I'm going straight down. Alright, that's just great. And I haven't dropped my stuff off. I should probably do that first before I get super wild and crazy here, like I just did. Jesus Christ. Took literally one step out the dungeon and immediately fucked up. Anyways. But yeah, I think there's some movies and stuff I could say are worth watching, but there's some movies I just don't get. Like, what's a good example? I don't get superhero films. I think they're the most boring, just stock standard, corporatized, you know, just... I don't like it at all. I hear a zombie, but that's not an Atronak. What the fuck? Oh, I thought that was, like, already the Atronak. I was like, wow, that was quick. So... yeah, I just don't understand superhero movies. Everyone, this is the common excuse I hear the most from people that like them, and there's nothing wrong if you like them, by the way. Remember, there's something called differences in opinion and differences in what people like. That's what diversity is, right? So, they're just these really standard, boring, kind of tropey movies that are just played to death because they're really easy to get, like, big budget actors into a small role, you know, and everyone goes, oh, the story's so good and it makes me feel happy. I'm like, that's cool, but it's just not very engaging. Oh, there's the Atronak, that quick. Holy shit. Is that it? Find an Atronak that escapes ruins of old Lysana's farm. Have I stumbled into the right place? Because that's an Atronak, anyways. There's two! I think the game tells you if it's the one you're supposed to have found. So it's like, yeah, they're just these kind of movies. It's like, oh, Spider-Man 1 is the only good superhero movie in my mind. Because it's got Macho Man Randy Savage in it. I'm actually being kind of serious. I think that's the only superhero movie that's any, like, good. Because that came out right when the craze started. You know what I mean? So if you're unfamiliar and you're living under a rock... oh, excuse me. If you're living under a rock, there was a point in time when superhero movies did not dominate the market. Because Marvel, shockingly, was not a huge juggernaut in film at the time. It was actually very niche and experimental to create successful superhero films because, guess what? A lot of developers realized, okay, these are just going to be like standard Hollywood action movies, like Iron Man 1. There is no way in hell you could tell me that in the next, like, 10 years, people would just turn Iron Man into, like, this own... I blame the MCU for a lot of things in film, especially corporate film, as I call it, where it's just film made by people. I know not everything is one person, obviously, in film. Like when people say, oh, George Lucas in Star Wars, like, yeah, you do realize, like, over 100+ people worked on all those movies, and George Lucas didn't even write half of it. Like, especially when it came to, what's it called? Empire Strikes Back. That was actually mainly composed and made with, Steven Spielberg, if I remember correctly. But, yeah, they're all these just kind of, like, samey movies, like, Jesus Christ. Do you remember Ghost Rider with fucking Nicolas Cage? Oh, I bet you do. That movie is bad, and it's not even, like, good. Do you remember Daredevil, which just kind of flopped? And this is the problem of MCU. They're like, oh, we're going to reboot and have then the actor that played him in the old one and be a timeline that goes into this. It's like, does it really feel like an original movie at that point? You're just rehashing stuff that has already been done for the sake of knowing it's already been done. And I just think that's so God, it just pisses me off. Like what they did with Spider-Man. I guess it's cute. They had, like, you know, the guy that played him, whatever his name in the Sam Raimi trilogy, Tobey Maguire. I believe he was in one of the recent Spider-Mans, but it's like, and then they had another guy with the other one, and he, like, goes back and I'm like, this just seems, it's cute, don't get me wrong, that's pretty cute, but it's also just, like, it invalidates the other movies in my mind, like, oh, well, we're going off this Spider-Man canon. It's like, it's still a guy who fucking shoots sperm out of his hands at bad guys and punches people. That's Spider-Man, okay? It's not gonna get any more complex than that. Like, it's really not, I hate to tell you. Like, this is the thing I hate about superheroes, is people say they relate to superheroes because, oh, this is the common one. Oh, I had no parents, I relate to Batman. What about the other, like, 5 billion people who don't have parents? It just sort of invalidates that thinking, and it really burns me. Like, I like Joker because what's his name died. I've never seen a single movie that he wasn't in, and it's like, oh, I hate the new Joker film. Why did Joker even need to have an explanation? It was just better when he was fucking crazy, and also, you gotta remember, half of these IPs existed solely to sell toys, so the entire, like, premise of a lot of these things stems from, like, corporate, like, shilling. So you're not really, it's like Captain Planet, right? Like, Captain Planet wasn't designed just for the exclusivity of making a, you know, conservation thing. It was also to sell toys and shit. So, like, or G.I. Joe, for example. G.I. Joe, the films, around 2009 or so, they are awful. Those are just awful, awful movies. But you know why they did that? Was because people, nostalgia grabbed people, and they go, oh, well, cool, we'll buy these because I remember the toys. And the toys were just made because of the show. And the show was made to predicate selling them based on the comics. So it all loops around to the same thing, right? It's all money. And I'm sure there's real, as an actual artist myself, you know, it's like, cool, yeah, you want to make money from what you do. That's called capitalism, and that's called, you know, how things work in a free market economy, right? So it's not like it's evil, it's a necessary evil. But I hate when people are like, oh, you gotta be thankful for everything. It's like, yeah, of course you're thankful. You'd be a psychopath not to be. But, like, at the same time, oh boy, we'll talk about that skull later. Hopefully we don't have to use it. Basically, what I'm trying to say is, like, yeah, a lot of these things were just invented and then cash grab. Like TMNT. TMNT was apocalyptically popular in the 80s and late 90s. And then people just want to live in the past of saying, oh, well, it's not actually, it's the mutagen from this. See, it's this timeline version. I'm like, this just already doesn't matter. It's the same characters as fucking hyper mutant turtle dudes punching other dudes. It's not going to get much more complex than that at the end of the day. Star Wars is always going to boil down to the good guys beat the bad guys. Okay, it's not really going to get more complex than you're going to make it out to be. Harry Potter is a good example. Harry Potter's fandom is awful. The Harry Potter films are awful. The only good ones are the first 3, and then the books, maybe the first 4. I think after Goblet of Fire, the series could have feasibly just ended. Actually, after 3, I think the series should have ended personally. But, you know, Half-Blood Prince is a fucking hot mess of a film and a book. Actually, the film is worse. And, like, there's so many examples of this. Like, this is also, like, the whole thing of everything needs to be a movie. Everything needs to be a TV series. Or everything needs to be this tight, interwoven canvas of stories all under one specific lore and one specific director. I really don't like that, especially as a creative person. It really just muddles the issue to me that you're just basically homogenizing things. Like, I never have liked comic books. I've never liked movies that much. Ooh, do I have that one on already? Cool, we'll wear that one. It's much more fancy. So it's like, yeah, I get why people like these movies and they sell well, but, like, I've seen a lot of them and I just kind of sit there and go, this is just like Avatar, for example. No, we're not talking about the movie. That doesn't exist. Like, I've seen the first Avatar film and went, this is just kind of not that good. But everyone's like, oh, you just don't understand. It's this. And I'm like, oh, god damn, I got poisoned. And I'm like, yeah, I understand what it's supposed to be. It's literally just the outsider goes into the inside of the other perspective and realizes they're wrong. That is not a new trope. The only reason people like that movie is because it looks pretty. That's the only reason they like it. Take away that and it just becomes pretty much Dances with Wolves. It's a very, unfortunately, common comparison, but it's true. It's literally Dances with Wolves with less Kevin Costner ass. Okay, it's like, well, is Dances with Wolves ultimately that bad of a movie? No, not really. But would I justify that movie as the entire history of Native Americans? Oh, fuck no. If you use that as a genuine determination of how all Americans treated Native Americans as someone who is of Native descent, I know a lot of people in America are, but I actually have Cherokee and Choctaw heritage. Like, it's actually built into me growing up, like, from family members. So it's like, can I justify Dances with Wolves as a historically accurate movie? No. Could it pique someone's interest in history of that? Sure. But if you go into it, that's like saying Saving Private Ryan is World War II. Like, that's what it equates to, right? You're just using these things as examples for other pre-existing concepts. That's like saying, oh god, because I've had this happen before. I've even seen people try to say things like, oh, Big Bang Theory is good because Sheldon's autistic. I'm like, that's not a good thing to explain to people that, oh, all autistic people are smart. That's basically what it boils down to whenever I hear that. I'm like, that's kind of stereotyping and stupid. Like, that doesn't work that way. Or, all nerdy people are cool. They're just really quirky. No, some nerdy people are just genuinely shitty and awful people. Like, that show is just awful. But my point is, I just don't get, like, a lot of film and stuff because it kind of caters down to that nowadays. It's like, oh, it's almost like, oh, we're trying to build more, and it just puts more walls and stereotypes up in the process. Like, when they made Captain Phasma in, like, the new Star Wars, it's like, well, the whole thing was, like, hyping up, oh, she's a strong woman, and it's like, that doesn't matter. She's a stormtrooper, it's gonna die. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, she's gonna get killed probably. She's basically female Boba Fett because someone thought this will sell money because we want to do it, and it's an idea that lacks actual creativity. You know, it's like Finn being a stormtrooper would have been a really cool concept, right? Like, because in Star Wars, like, stormtroopers are just kind of like these disposable people, right? So it's interesting, right? Because they're also, like, fed propaganda and stuff. But from very little of that movie engages with that concept. It was kind of explored, but it's not fully fleshed out. That's my main thing, is like, there could have been much more, but then everyone just focuses on, oh, Finn's black, and it's like, that's shitty, but that also gives you an excuse. If he's a poorly written character, you say, oh, you just don't like it because you're racist, and it's like, no, the character's just poorly written, but people will still jump up and down. It's like that one movie that came out recently, the Queen, whatever it was, the Africa Queen woman thing that was about a, like, the Queen King or whatever it was called. Basically, it was a whole bunch of, like, Africa, it's like, okay, cool, and then you look at the actual history behind it, and the people that were, like, involved in this were involved in the actual slave trade of Africans, and it's like, that's not painting a good picture of anything at that point. Especially because the creators got really freaked out and then they said, oh, you're just racist. It's like, no, it's just bad. It's not a well-made film. It's just, oh, I hate it. It makes me so angry. It's not a film that's made out of actual passion. It's a film to get generated numbers and, like, to get people to talk about it because it's progressive, and I hate that shit. It's not actually... It's still film and it's still art, but it's just, like, corporatized. It's very structured to make people buy it, and I don't like it. It also promotes the idea that if you don't agree with something, there's something wrong with you or something like that, and it's like, because someone can say, oh, why don't you want to watch it? It's like, because I don't watch film. And then they just say, well, why don't you like film? And it's like, because I just don't. It's like saying, do I like strawberry ice cream? Not really, but I'll eat it if it's there. Like, if I'm at a friend's house, like, let's watch a movie, I'm just gonna kind of go, oh, shit. Because I don't want to watch a movie, but I'll do it out of their sake, right? If a friend has strawberry ice cream, I ain't gonna complain. Every now and then strawberry ice cream's good, especially if it has little like chunks of strawberries in it. It's really good. You know, I like that. But I don't go out of my way to get strawberry ice cream. I go out of my way to get vanilla because I'm the most boring person on the planet. And I'm okay with that. That's what I hate about, like, quote-unquote fandom, you know? It's like you gotta have everybody like it. Everybody has to be able to like it. That's why I like a lot of metal that nobody really listens to. Not because it's, oh, it's edgy. It's because... Oh, that teleported me instantly. It scared the shit out of me. No, I'm trying to enter the save name. Teely. Okay, that's not actually a teleporter. Good. So we can mark this one off as useless. We'll try and find that skull, because that skull could be, and as it could be, it's probably a teleporter. Like, a good example for me is I like Atmo Black. If you don't know what Atmo Black is, it's atmospheric black metal. Why do I like it? Not because it's edgy and sad. It's because I actually write music that sounds similar to atmospheric black metal. I like ambient music. I also like metal. Combining emotional and powerful and downright uncomfortable together is right up my alley. If you show that to somebody who doesn't like heavy metal or anything of those natures, it's gonna just seem... There's the flat... There it is. It's in there. It's just gonna seem weird, right? Like... It's not, like, if someone doesn't get it, I'm not gonna be like, oh, it's too fucking above you. It's like, no, some people just don't like it. The life fades from the Atronach's eyes. Like, I'm just gonna be like, oh, cool, you don't have to like it. No one's forcing you to like it. That's the magic part. But the people that defend it are usually people that are just like, you know, they buy it on impulse, and that really makes me uncomfortable. Like... The whole idea of, okay, like, let's say a Funko Pop comes out of Batman, and they don't know anything... Actually, not even Funko Pop, just a brand that has a Batman product, and someone buys it because it's Batman. That is what they're banking on, not if you like the quality, and I've seen this in a few, like, sites, too. It's really quite depressing. So what ends up happening is there'll be a lesser quality product, or made by a dubious company or whatever. What is the... Retro Blasting is a good example. He has a really good video on this, and it's because, you know, I work with trading cards, so of course... God... Fine, 7,200, that's all I'm trying to type. You know, Retro Blasting is a great video on this, and it's... The point is what I'm trying to say is you can scum, and that's the thing, like, corporate, like, behemoths, like Funko Pop, for example... They will slap the name on something, or like, oh, you like Diablo, therefore you have to buy Diablo product, or like a Yu-Gi-Oh product. I love Yu-Gi-Oh, but I don't buy Speed Duel because I don't need to. I don't want to. I don't buy stuff on Master Duel because I already own the physical TCG. So it's like, that's what I mean. Like, these kinds of tactics are meant to apply to people who are the easiest audience, aka the person that is unwilling to care about quality and just wants quantity or binge culture. And that kind of mentality just scares the shit out of me. Like, it just seems so unhealthy. And while you can say on the contrary, well, Seth, if you don't engage in it, then you're really uncultured in a lot of ways. I'm kind of okay with that, if that makes any sense. And that scares people. I get it. That's weird. Like, you don't want to be on the hip new trend? I'm playing fucking Daggerfall, dude. My computer cost me almost $2,000 that I spent years saving, and I'm playing fucking Daggerfall on it. Do you really think I give a shit at that point? That's all I gotta say, you know? It's like, does it really matter? No research helping. King Gothrid. Psychopathic Mage. I don't want to do that one. No. King Gothrid again. How about no? Sure. Westcroft. But yeah, it's like these things, like, I'm not saying, by the way, if you buy Funko Pops, you're a dumb person or something. I'm saying that the people that they take advantage of the most are people that just buy it because of association. Like Doctor Who, right? Like, I've tried to like Doctor Who, and I'm like, oh, whatever. But, like, the Funko Pop for Doctor Who versus the Funko Pop for, like, whatever will vary differently between companies and qualities or whatever. Or, like, a handcrafted thing is much more, to me, much more impactful. Like, another example of this is, like, RuneScape's official products, I think, kind of lack. Whereas somebody like Crumb, who actually handcrafts them, is much more impressive to me as a person. And I'd rather buy that because it shows integrity. That's made by the community. And it's much more important to me. Good luck getting past the necromancers. Yeah, good luck indeed. Shit! Oh, no! Is it morning or is it afternoon? Oh, it's morning. Jesus Christ. Yeah, I think personally that Funko Pops look bland and they look uninteresting and they appeal to binge culture. I don't think I hate them. I just think they're just uninteresting. As an artist, as someone who took 6 years of art school, like shit, and like taught creative stuff in their life to people and how to be creative, it feels creatively bankrupt. Let's see. We'll do another Atronach, I guess. Let's see. We'll go to Edwarayan Laboratory. All right, I'll do it. Edwarayan Laboratory. No. That's not... Let's try to narrow it down. Laboratory. There we are. Like... Okay, here's an example. I'm playing Daggerfall. Would I just... Oh, shit. Actually, that might be fine. I'll make the teleport outside just in case. Like, would I buy a Daggerfall Funko Pop just because I played Daggerfall? No. Would I rather buy something from somebody that is a crafted, homemade, 3D printed model of like the Daggerfall dagger logo? Sure. That's something that somebody put time and effort and thought into. Is this... Are we really gonna do that again? We are. We're really gonna have to go through another Atronach dungeon? God damn it. Just kill another Atronach? God, son of a bitch. You know, to me, that is much more... I'd be more willing to part with my hard-earned money on something that's a product of actual ambition or creativity. Whereas... Oh, hi. Oh, hi, Mark. Like, if you show me a Funko Pop of fucking Tommy Wiseau, and then show me one of, like, Matrix dude, Neo, I don't know. I don't watch either of these things. I wouldn't be able to tell you the difference. And that's not good. You know what I mean? Like, I would rather have quality versus quantity. And that's just a me thing. Hey, do you know where this dungeon's at? I bet you do. We've been there like 2 times now. This module is very important. It's like, yeah, it's cool that maybe there exists one, cool, but wouldn't you rather have the one that's made by the person that's actually doing it and the money that you give them is helping support their hobby rather than a company that just... Oh, this is bullshit. This is bullshit, dude. This is like the entire dungeon's gonna be all Atronachs. And they're all gonna be different. Fuck. Like, if somebody made clay model 3D recreations of the Fire Atronach, would I buy it? Probably not. But you know what I mean? If I was a real hardcore Daggerfall fan and I wanted to have some memorabilia, you know, for me personally, everything's internal because I'm a fucking lunatic that plays Daggerfall in 2023. But would it mean anything? Like, my mousepad actually... Oh, wow, I found him right there. My mousepad, if you're curious, says, "You hear maniacal laughter in the distance, period, period, @ symbol, period, 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 period." Do you know what that means? Good. If you don't, that's fine. It's the Scare Monster spell from NetHack. Do you know where I found it? A third-party buyer, because they wanted to sell it, and I bought it from them. And I like it, because it's special to me, and it's small. So, that's my little way of saying, NetHack's great, because it's free. So, it's niche. Not everyone knows what the fuck... No one even... I remember my ex didn't even... What? Is this the, Okay. I guess we're having an escort here. But yeah, it's like, would I want everyone to be walking around wearing NetHack? Oh, perfect! That's right, that's for, Medora. Cool. Your vision hazes and the world grows dim. Out of the gray, a woman's face appears. She looks a little high. Medora! Medora! Shiraki, your efforts to free me have not been in vain. I have discovered a powder that will soothe the ghost of my beloved Lysandus. However, it is in the hands of Gortwog, warlord of the Orcs, in his citadel of Orsinium. Go to him in Orsinium and see if there is anything that can be done to persuade him to give it to you. Bring the powder to me into Rennie Tower. Once you have it, the vision clears. Sometimes you wish sorceresses would just send letters like other folks do. So yay, we officially have that start, and that's awesome. But yeah, would I care if everybody had like a NetHack shirt? It would kind of cheapen the experience, right? It's like, excuse me. It's like, it's not as impactful when everyone's wearing it. It's like when you see someone with a... You know, I've seen videos on this, like where people go out and they literally intentionally track people down for wearing like Metallica shirts, and they demand them to name Slayer shirts, and they demand them to name 3 different Slayer songs that aren't, like, mainstay ones. I could do it, but at the same time, if I'm under pressure, I don't know who the fuck you are, and you're like, name 3 Slayer songs that aren't Raining Blood and Angel of Death, I'd be like, do I know you? Like, that would weird me out. But at the same time, I totally could. Let's say... Payback is one of my all-time favorite underrated ones, because it's just the line of, I'm gonna tear your fucking eyes out, beat you till you're not fucking nothing left but a fucking lifeless carcass, beat you to your progress, fuck you and your progress, watch your fucking regress, you ain't shit, now you ain't nothing. I'm simplifying, I probably fucked it up like 6 spots, but that one's great, because it's just this bullshit, stupid angst anthem. What's another good one? Let's see. I had to think about it. I like Divine Intervention, the song, a lot. I think that's one of Slayer's best songs. It's criminally underrated because it's all about just like getting fucking obliterated by like literal divine intervention and power and it all overcoming you. It's fucking awesome. I really, really, really fucking love Seasons in the Abyss. From front to start, that album is goddamn incredible. Dead Skin Mask, that's a personal favorite, but nothing beats Skeletons of Society. It's that fucking song gets me every time I hear that. That makes me want to fucking just. That's like oh man, just I love it. It's so good. It is just so good. I don't need all this goddamn gold. I fucking love that song. Let's see, what else is another fantastic Slayer song that's not a mainstream Slayer song? It's kind of hard to say, but World Painted Blood is pretty good. I mean the song, not the album. The album's kind of just okay, but you know what I mean? Like, if you're in the middle of, like, thinking and someone's like, fucking demand you to, like, it's like, do I know you? Like... That's gonna make me uncomfortable and weirded out. Just a little bit. Alright, we're gonna go to Orsinium, though. So we gotta go talk to not Gothra, Jesus. Orcman, Gortwog. There we go. I know his name. Oh, and by the way, I figured out what the fucking term I was thinking of was in the very beginning. I was like, what is the fucking thing that's like British but not really in Irish? It's called Celtic, for God's sake. Or Celtic, sorry. I feel so fucking stupid. I thought of it when I was at work, too. I was like, I am so dumb. It's called Celtic, Seth, you fucking idiot. Let's see, what's another fantastic, underrated Slayer song? Christ Delusion's a kind of mediocre album. Jihad is a good song, but it is just definitely intentionally made to be baity. Like, and it sort of loses its charm when you know it was kind of like just half-assed together a little bit. Alright, so Medora wants the dust of restful death. Only because I respect the memory of King Lysandus will I do this. The dust can be found in the ruins of Masterford's guard on her own island. Tell Medora that the price is her support of my claim to the heart. She'll know what it means. Not sure if that's good, because this dungeon can go one of two ways, so... There's allegedly some that you can get that are broken, but we'll see what happens when we get there. Yeah, I don't know, I think that... Yeah, you shouldn't wear stuff that you don't know what it means. I think that's pretty obvious, but at the same time, don't just... That's a typo! T-H-E, big H-E. That's weird. What was the name of the place? I've already forgotten it. The ruins of Masterford's guard. Okay. We'll go there. Also, since I don't know how long this video is... Oh, Jesus. This is just going to be a mummy quest, by the way, if you're curious. I am going to cut here just out of brevity, because I don't know how long this video's gone on, so I'll see you in the next one. We'll talk more about Slayer. If you're lucky.